know. Fact check. Biden's midterm message includes false and misleading claims this whole entire time. So, um, President Biden has been back on the campaign trail, traveling in October and early November to deliver his pitch for electing Democrats in the midterm elections on Tuesday. Biden's pitch had included claims that were false, misleading, or lacking important context. As always, we take no position on the accuracy of the subject arguments. Here is a fact check. 9 of his recent statements. The White House did not respond to a request for comment on this article. That's a little. So I think they're putting him under the bus because they don't want to use him in 2024. They're going to use somebody else. That's probably what they're going to do. So this is according to CNN. Biden said at a Democratic fundraiser in Pennsylvania last week, "On our watch, for the first time in 10 years, seniors are going to get the biggest increase in their Social Security checks they've gotten." He also touted the 2023 increase in Social Security payments at other events. But Biden's boasts lead out such critical context that they are highly misleading. He hasn't explained that the increase in Social Security payments for 2023, 8.7%, is unusually big supply because the inflation rate has been unusually big. The 1970s says that the Social Security payments must be increased by the same percentage that a certain measure of inflation has increased. It's called cost of living adjustment. The White House deleted a Tuesday tweet that delivered an exceptionally trumpet version of the Biden's boast. And Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre acknowledged Wednesday that the tweet was lacking context. You can read a more detailed fact check here. But here's the thing, even Twitter fact checked Joe Biden, and they've been fact checking him recently a lot because I've been looking at his tweets because I follow him on Twitter to see. And it's funny to see this in real time. It's like 5 minutes after he tweets, I see the fact check already there. I'm like, really? Wow, that's good. Social Security Part 2. So Biden said at a Democratic rally in Florida on Tuesday, "And on my watch, for the first time in 10 years, seniors are going to get an increase in checks." The claim that a 2023 increase of Social Security payments is the first time in 10 years is false. In reality, there has been a cost of living increase every year from 2017 onward, which is really, really bad, by the way. If we look at this in a different angle, it's actually really bad because of the fact that we can look at this and say that inflation has gone up since 2017. Has gone up since 2017. Every single year. It's disgusting. There was also an increase every year from 2012 through 2015 before the payment level was kept flat in 2016 because of the lack of inflation. Ooh, 2016. That's good. The context around the Biden remark in Florida suggests that he might have botched his repeat campaign line about Social Security payments increasing at the same time as Medicare premiums are declining. He was wrong. A new corporate tax. So Biden repeatedly suggested in speeches in October and early November that there is a new law he signed in August, the Inflation Reduction Act, will stop the practice of successful corporations paying no federal corporate income tax. Biden made the claim explicitly in a tweet last week. Let me give you the facts. In 2020, 55 corporations made $40 billion. And they paid $0 in federal taxes. My Inflation Reduction Act puts an end to this. But puts an end to this is an exaggeration. The Inflation Reduction Act will lower the number of companies on the list of non-payers, but that's because of the new law's 15% alternative corporate minimum tax on the book income companies report to investors only applies to companies with at least $1 billion in average annual income. And there's lots of nuances. You can read more specifics here. According to the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, that is in 2021 published a list of 55 large and profitable corporations that avoided paying any federal income tax in their previous fiscal year. Only 14 of these 55 companies reported having a U.S. pre-tax income of at least $1 billion in their last year. In other words, there will paying no federal income tax even after the minimum tax takes effect in 2023. The exact number is not known yet. Martha Gardner is a Oh, I thought they were going to credit somebody. Matthew Gardner is a senior fellow at the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy, said on Thursday, emailed that the new tax is an important step forward from the tax status quo, 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 from the status quo, and that it will raise substantial revenue. But he also said, I wouldn't want to assert the minimum tax will end the phenomenon of zero tax profitable corporations. A more accurate phrasing would be to say that the minimum tax will help ensure the most profitable corporations pay at least some federal income tax. The debt and the deficit. Biden said that on a Tuesday rally in Florida, look, taking us into debt. Well, guess what? I reduced the national deficit this year by $1 trillion, $1 trillion, dollars, the most in all American history. No one has ever reduced the debt that much. We will cut the national debt in half. Biden offered a similar narrative on a Thursday rally in New Mexico, this time saying, we cut the fact. There are two significant problems here. First, Biden conflated the debt and the deficit, which are two completely different things. They are not true. It's not true that Biden has cut the federal debt in half. The federal debt, total borrowing plus interest owed, and has continued to rise under Biden, exceeding $31 trillion for the first time this October. Rather, the federal deficit, the annual difference between spending and revenue, was cut in half between fiscal. Second, it's highly questionable how much credit Biden deserves for even that reduction in the deficit. Biden doesn't mention that the primary reason the deficit plummeted in fiscal years 2021 and 2022 was that it skyrocketed in the record high of 2020 because of emergency pandemic relief spending. It then fell as expected as the spending expired, and that was planned. Dan White, Senator Director of the Economic Research at Moody's, an economics firm whose assessments Biden has rapidly cited during his presidency, told CNN's Matt Aaron in October, on net, the policies of the administration has increased the deficit, not reduced it. The Committee for a Reasonable Federal Budget, an advisory group, says the administration's own actions has significantly worsened the deficit picture. David Kelly, chief global strategist at JP Morgan Funds, told Egan that the Biden administration does deserve credit for the economic recovery that has boosted tax revenues. So, the unemployment rate, Biden said at a Florida rally on Tuesday, unemployment is down from 6.5% to 3.5%, the lowest in 50 years. Hey, were you really going to click off this video before leaving a like and subscribing down below? Wow, so rude.